Welcome to the Modcast. It's the official voice of MOD Sales Academy, coming to you live from Calgary, Alberta. Welcome to Firefly Con. Actually, that's what I'm calling it. Firefly is making such a big presence here, Kyle. I'm here with Kyle McCormick. He's the CEO of Firefly. And yeah, like Kyle, really, truly, I've been here for just a morning so far, and I feel like I'm at Firefly Con.
Well, it's good to hear. Yeah, we've got a little respect for Sam. And, first door-to-door con happening in Canada, so we want to bring as much of our folks out as possible to support the launch.
Yeah, for sure. This reminds me a lot of the first door-to-door con, which was January 2018. And it was about this size. The energy levels got that, hey, we're here, we're new. But Firefly, yeah, what a presence to have met so many of your folks. How many sales reps are there at Firefly?
I wish I could tell you a few hundred for sure, but I'm not entirely sure. Yeah.
And how many of them are here, do you think?
Most, I'd say.
Okay, so I'm not hallucinating that I've met so many. And it's a real pleasure to be here in Calgary, Alberta. I tell you, I know you guys are known not for having the greatest weather, but this week is like is this your Chamber of Commerce week?
Yeah, this is it right here, man. This is it. Yeah.
This is that time where you try to get you want the relatives not to come.
Exactly.
Yeah, we do that in Arizona. We make a big mistake. We have all the relatives come during Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And then they get here and they go, oh my God, this is what it's like at Thanksgiving. We're going to sell a house back in New York and move out to Arizona. That's how we ended up with so many folks there. So, Kyle, I was actually in a conversation earlier with one of your leaders, Tim, and he shared something with me that I didn't know. He said during 2020, during COVID, that you and he were on the phone selling alarms because you couldn't get out door to door. Tell me, what was that like, being on the phone, trying to sell alarms during COVID?
I was sitting in my house, probably drinking 15 coffees a day, pacing back and forth like a tiger in a cage. And never felt that way before. But yeah, we were dialing probably 100 reps, dialing aggressively all day. Quite frankly, very, very low conversion rates. But Tim had just come into our program literally weeks prior to that shutdown. And thank God he was eager to make an impact on us, because we dialed hard, we converted some sales, and then the Canadian regulations eased a little bit, and they let us back out on doors. Yeah.
I kept myself very fortunate. I get something at every single SolarCon that I come to. In that year, I happened to hear the author of the book Relentless, Michael Jordan's coach, Tim, talk about how Michael Jordan, got to where he was. And I got a chance to ask him a question specifically. Tim Grover, I asked him, I saw Michael Jordan steal the championship away from the Phoenix Suns. Decade and a half, a couple decades ago. And there were literally 3 overtimes, all of which were turned into overtimes away from victories for the Suns by Michael Jordan individually. Second overtime, third overtime, wins it. I said, was that man born without a choke button? Was that man born without a choke button? And Tim Grover said to me, no, Mike, he chokes with the best of them. Just watch him in his early NBA career, college career, etc. Choked with the best of them. He said the difference was, and what I was really concerned about is, everyone in that arena knew the ball was coming to him, including him and us and every opponent. And he knew it was coming to him, and yet he put it in and scored that at the buzzer. So, come on, that's, no choke button. He said, that wasn't it, Mike. He was in the gym every single morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, and he had made that shot 5,000 times in the last 90 days. You got to do the work, right? And so I'll be, and that book, it inspired me to start, and he called Michael Jordan a cleaner, other guys like that a cleaner. It inspired me to start the Cleaners Club. Your guys are on the call every single morning with me. We now call it the No Matter What Club, but it's that same legacy club where we get started every day. If it hadn't have been for that, I don't think I would have done what you did, which was to find a way to push through during COVID. And I'd have that story of, it was going great till COVID happened, and then ... So what was it like to go through that and then get to the point where you started the solar endeavor and this big solar enterprise, the big solar company here in Canada? What was that like for you, and how's it going?
Yeah, great question. So yeah, I mean, during the window of COVID, yeah, very frustrating for all of us being told that you can't do something doesn't fare well with salespeople and entrepreneurs. So we definitely did our best to swim upstream.
And was that Firefly or was that a predecessor company?
That was a predecessor. So my entrepreneurial journey in Alberta started with an ADT dealership called Kaiman Inc. That program was active for about 5 years. We scaled it from 6 reps in our first year to around 500 in our last year. Won't get into all the details, but the long and short is I don't work for people very well, and that is ultimately why that relationship is no longer active. Simultaneously, so we had actively built out a roofing and solar company about a year before my contract with TELUS and ADT had ended.
Okay.
And ultimately, the goal was to use the TELUS campaign and the ADT campaign as a farming lead to go into our bigger ticket sales.
Okay.
Firefly is technically only a company that's been incorporated since 2022, but we've been doing solar since around 2020. So we jumped in under our roofing brand, and we first established an affiliate program with an EPC out of Toronto. Long story short, we did 680 sales for them in the first 6 months.
Wow.
They installed about 6, and then they filed for Chapter 11. So we, when I say a multi-million-dollar mistake, literally lost about $2.5 million in about 3 days after that program shut down.
So those were some tough lessons.
My first inkling was that solar sucks.
Yeah. How'd you go from solar sucks to, hey, let's be a solar installer? And be the big player in that space.
So out of survival, I'll get into the macroeconomics a little bit. We felt the Canadian population is very, very much in line with the Go Green agenda. So my opinion was that we were going to see an exponential spike of adoption in solar, probably 5 to 6 years. Then it was going to turn more into a service industry, no more net new. I didn't know if I wanted to invest my life savings into bolting on infrastructure to do end to end. The money on paper was good from a dealer lens. When the first partner that we worked with became insolvent, we pivoted over to the largest EPC in Alberta, doing about 400 annual residential installs at that time. We came out of the gate, we did 2,400 for them in the first year, 2,800 in the second year. And without getting into too much detail, our customers are waiting for 12 to 24 months for installs.
Whoa.
This
I
was,
got guys kicking my butt in the United States because we're taking 23 days.
well, hey, that's a good turnaround time. So yeah, good for you guys.
Yeah. Well, no, they're not happy.
They're not happy. Well, our guys would be
Why can these other
ecstatic.
guys do it in 13 days? I like. Does the word permit actually, look it up in the dictionary? There's a meaning behind the word permit.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. They can't be getting pulled while you're on the roof.
No, not
Yeah.
13 days. Right.
So yeah, we just recognized that there was a gap in the industry. So what I mean by that is, A, the established players in the space did not have the appetite to scale and take on any risk. Because they had a lot of commercial revenue coming in, they weren't dependent on residential, and consequently customer service. I won't say that they were negligent in it, but it wasn't a top priority. So I looked at the market and said, well, we know how to scale businesses. We reverse engineer all of our values from how to serve the customer first. There's the gap. Here's our value add. Let's go to market. Simultaneously, we did work with a market analysis individual. They said, hey, we've got a $228 billion market cap. We've got probably 2050 runway. And I said, well, I'm passionate about the industry. There's runway, there's longevity. Why don't we start investing our own cash? So slowly, we would pull one team from our dealer program into our in-house program. We would work with installers to get those projects done. And within about 6 months of that starting point, we were fully in-house. We had locked in financing, and we went direct to market ourselves. That was, 2022, and the last 3 years have been, an absolute roller coaster ride. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're not happy with how things are in solar, just wait a while. They're going to change.
They're going to change.
They're about to change. And you've mentioned the word cash 2 or 3 times. I don't think the solar industry really has an appreciation in general for the amount of cash that it takes to be a great installer.
Yeah.
You know, on the sales side, you kind of eat what you kill, and your expenses go up and down with numbers. But when you're an installer, your expenses stay the same in a large part, regardless of the ups and downs of volume. How have you dealt with that?
As soon as we went from cash flow to accrual accounting, we recognized the very first, multi-6-figure hire that we onboarded was our CFO. And it was, can we afford this? Well, we have no choice. We have all this cash in our bank account, and we don't know where it's supposed to go. So
Is this a good amount to have? I don't know.
yeah, it's more than we've ever had, but it's not my money.
Yeah.
So we jumped into the idea of we are an install company. We realize revenue upon installation. Costs are costs no matter what. I can tell you that over the last 36 months, the world of finance has opened to me, and it's been a very, very fun journey to learn how this works from A to Z. Still learning, but we've always been able to sell ourselves out of any cash flow problems. But when you go into the EPC world, unfortunately, that can't happen. You have to install your way out of cash flow problems if they happen to exist, and that's where operational efficiency becomes very crucial.
Paramount.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we're kind of, I think, in the United States, we're so U.S.-centric. I think we're like a narcissistic country, probably evidenced by some of our leaders, right? But we're so focused on what we're doing. And here we have Canada like next door neighbors. I think we're probably guilty of not knowing what's going on or only paying attention.
Sure.
So we're all obsessed with this big, beautiful bill, the changes that are coming about, which I won't get into, but monumental changes. And in Canada, things have some similarities, but they're very different. But as I understand it, you're coming up onto that same hard line of a change.
Yeah, and again, part of the blessing of being in Canada for us is we do have a crystal ball south of the border. We're about 15 years behind the trend, so we can assess what systems worked well, what approaches worked well, what was detrimental, what companies became insolvent due to catastrophic mistakes. But the long and short is in terms of, federal funding, it sounds as though as of today, no more greener home loans. So a $40,000 interest.
And that was
loan.
sort of the counterpart to like in the U.S., we have the tax credit.
Exactly.
You guys had that's a zero down loan.
Zero down loan. So
which when I do the numbers is pretty much on par in terms of value from an incentive standpoint.
Phenomenal value, quick ROI for homeowners, created a lot of consumer confidence in solar. So it's done its job.
Yeah.
I think, knowing that we have a liberal federal government, we are probably going to see some new iteration of either a loan or an ITC, which we'd love to see the model resemble what the U.S. is doing. I think
as we're getting rid of it, you guys bring it on.
Exactly.
That would be perfect. And have it for 15 years.
Yeah.
Maybe you're 15 years behind. We've had it for 20 years, and there's about 5 more days left of it.
Yeah.
Really, where you can get a solar purchase with a loan and have the tax credit built into it.
Wow.
That's what we're dealing with
Wow.
in the U.S. Consequently, that's October 1st is the last, or the beginning of the new day. And then I understand that's the beginning of the new day for you.
The first day of the rest of our lives.
The first day. So my question to you on that score, and I asked this question at SolarCon in a talk that I gave there. And of course, we'd been through, as you said, since 2022, it's like incoming one after another things. All the things we dealt with, starting with COVID, then inflation, then higher interest rates, and so on and so on and so on. Now, after that came the big, beautiful bill. But even before that, I asked the question, is this the beginning of the end or the beginning of the beginning? What are your thoughts, solar in Canada?
Yeah, I'm very bullish on it being the beginning of the beginning. Any company that is successful because of a third party's intervention, in my opinion, is not standing on its own 2 legs. So, we look at the private market is going to do its thing. Capitalism is going to do its thing. The cost of money right now is obviously not cheap, so that will impact margins. But this is the beginning of solar in Canada, in my opinion.
And I sort of listening to a conversation that I was in with you, and I don't want you to share things that aren't public yet, but I understand you're really taking a hard look. My view of the powerhouses in the solar industry, which have been the Sunnovas and the Sunruns, and before that, SunPower, which looks like it's being resurrected.
Yeah.
They not only solve the solar sales and installations, but also the financing part. What are your thoughts about your company and how to what would be the involvement there?
Yeah, I think with my appetite, as soon as I know that someone is doing something that I could do, it becomes my new North Star. I become obsessed with it and I pursue it relentlessly until I achieve it. Why I share that with you is, borrowing money and getting someone else to, to make profit off of our vehicle, our EPC, doesn't sit very well with me. So, without getting into too much detail, as you said, we're making some big plays to ensure that we are, I would say, vertically integrated. The entire value chain, A to Z, will come through Firefly proprietary, and I think that'll keep us robust to ensure we can weather any storm.
Yeah, if I had things to do over again, I think I would have become or hired somebody who was a financing genius to stay with me through my time in the solar industry. It looks like that's going to become a real pivotal issue and a resource, obviously, as we take it to it. Are you thinking there'll be a period of interruption in terms of adoption rate with zero loans going away? How fast do you think we can pivot and adapt?
Wonderful question. I think, next week will be the telltale of how that unravels. But again, we're going into a value-oriented sale with a quick return on investment, moving into more of a cash flow, hedge against inflation model. I think it does water down the value proposition modestly, but as we move from early adoption to mainstream adoption in the solar sector, at least on the residential basis, it just makes sense to me.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm really looking forward to kind of developing what those challenges are with Firefly. Having Firefly be in the MOD Sales Academy, having your people on the calls every day, some of your superstars like Caleb Mann kind of leading the charge. It really is a mastermind where we develop ideas and overcome challenges. And I've got some unbelievable insights from talking to your folks here just this morning that I think are going to take some of the challenges. One of the challenges that I've had helping Firefly Solar salespeople in Canada is that you really didn't have that today only approach. And that's because there was like this 4-step process. And, I make fun of people who sell solar south of here by having some multi-stage process because there's no requirement for that. And with the zero down Canadian loan, there really was. So I think that we might be able to create sort of a hybrid of what the process was historically and move and bring in and adopt some of the things. As you said, Canada sort of comes up learning from the things that we've went through. I think some of the opportunities on how to make appointments and do presentations so we're oriented the customer towards getting the decision made, very quickly is something that we're going to be able to chop up in the MOD Academy with Firefly. I'm looking forward to doing that. And excited to be with your team on Monday. So
we're blessed to have you. Looking forward to it as well.
I've heard from your folks as well. They're planning to be around on Monday. They're coming from all over. They're in town, and it sounds like a lot of them.
All across the country. Everyone will be in our Calgary headquarters on Monday, and they're looking forward to working with you intimately.
Always the sales guy. I'm telling them, hey, Kyle's buying lunch.
I'm buying lunch.
So you got to be there.
My wife is buying lunch, but we'll provide lunch.
There we go. Colleen, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so Colleen's buying lunch. So we'll be chopping it up from 9 till noon, and I'm looking forward to that being interactive on that subject. Like, we got some changes coming. We got some challenges coming. How can we really pick the brains, right? Get a brainstorm happening so that we're really developing that. What do you see as, some of the immediate challenges in that regard, and what do you think we can chop up on Monday to help us get a head start?
Yeah, I think just understanding how to pitch the economics again with the Canadian consumer, with the GHL going away, it's going to be a lot of, well, hey, let's sit, let's wait, let's see what else comes out. So how do we create sense of urgency? So that's your skill set, frankly.
Yeah, it is.
So we're very, very excited to have you. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've got some great starts of some ideas to that I'm excited about. So kind of before we finish up, take us back a little bit. I'm picturing you on the phone, you and Tim. We gotta sell these refrigerators, man. We gotta sell these alarm systems. So obviously, direct sales, you've got some real relevant, pertinent, direct experience with that. What was it like going from someone who understood the opportunity of being in direct sales and, in fact, door-to-door sales? What was your pathway like from there to being able to lead and manage a team, and then later lead and manage, a big sales organization?
Yeah, and I guess I'll let the cat out of the bag. I am not the best sales guy. I'm a middle of the pack individual. I came into a direct sales door-to-door role in telecommunications 15, 16, maybe 17 years ago now. Within 3 months, I had been promoted to manager. I was able to scale groups very, very quickly. I could train if someone was watching me because I had to go execute. If I'm by myself and there's 10 objections, don't have it in me. Just to be transparent, and my team probably doesn't want to hear that, but I did have an affinity for working with people and saying, okay, your best income year has been X, let's double it, let's triple it. And we can see those fruits materialize in their life. That's a very, very, very wholesome feeling for me. I own 5 businesses. 2 of them are in direct sales. 3 of them are outside of direct sales. I love the direct sales companies way more than the other ones because I have the opportunity to work with people. So I guess the long and short, to bring this full circle, your question, I've always been operationally focused. I've always been competent in sales. I've always worked to be as authentic of a leader as possible. I focus on relationships, accountability, longevity. And as a result of that, I've just been able to work with larger groups of people.
So as we're kind of wrapping things up here, I'd like to step back and thinking about you personally being on the phone and making those direct sales. What was it like to make the leap from direct sales into, as you said, running 5 businesses? That could be overwhelming just on the face of it. But what's it like building an organization, right? And how do you find leaders or what do you look for in a leader that can help you really have an organization that functions well?
Phenomenal question. So on the sales side, the analogy that I share with my leadership team almost daily is, if we are going to storm the beaches of Normandy in the face of certain death, I can't have people by my side running back to the boats. So that's probably the first.
So do you burn the boats?
We burn the boats. We definitely burn the boats. But just the understanding that, and I've been blessed to be working with a similar leadership group through multiple chapters. I've had days where we've lost contracts and I've seen 400 people walk out the door in 24 hours. I've been that guy where I'm standing here, what's next?
Jerry Maguire.
Yeah.
Show me the money.
Show me the money. And I think, how you doing? I think the other consideration is, because of us going through these chapters, I've been able to really pick people and work with people that we've gone through multiple ups and downs. And as a result of that, I know that my core is loyal. And then moving into an ops org, working with employees who are hourly or salary based, and there's no incentive like there is in the sales world that we all come from. The harder you work, the more that you make, assuming you're proficient in your craft. Then that really changed things for us because, at this point, I don't know how many employees we have, but it's well over 100. And you look at a group of people with kids and families and homes and mortgages, and it's an overwhelming feeling of responsibility to know that I am responsible, or our ownership group is responsible to ensure that they have a secure job. And to see those people work overtime and go above and beyond for no benefit other than they believe in the vision and the cause that we've created for them, it's a very, very touching, very emotional thing to go through,
There's a lot of people counting on you.
Yeah.
A lot of people counting on you. And it's funny, they were talking today in the conference about people who are in sales and how that's such a risky business because you don't have a salary, right? Obviously, on a daily basis, people are coming on board your organization in sales and there's no salary, right? How would you speak to their concerns and their uncle and parents' concerns? What do you mean? What are you going to get a real job? One with a salary. Yeah. What's it like being a guy coming on board into a job with no salary and really having to take that
So
by the
is the question, how do we address that with people coming into our organization?
What would you say to someone to give them the courage,
Yeah.
really, to know that it's not a poor decision?
These are not my words, but someone told me many years ago, commissions are consistent, people are not. And that's where the loss of opportunity of income comes from. But at the end of the day, to live a life with a projected destination, a guaranteed outcome, even though it's not guaranteed, but the illusion of security exists, and people definitely pursue that. I don't know. It's just, people, I think the main thing is everyone has been an employee. Everyone's worked at an hourly rate or a salary rate at some point in their life, or I assume most have. And people who are, the 1% or the top 5% often are paid less or equal to the people who spend their entire day picking their nose and leaning on them to get the work done on their behalf. So the way that I present this typically is, if you are one of those people, you're one that we're looking for to join our organization, and you're going to be compensated based on your actual value, not what you agree to on day one. So, yeah.
Well, that gives people a lot of opportunity. Obviously, with a couple of hundred reps, many have taken you up on that opportunity. It's exciting to see so many of them flourish, and it's been fun to get to work with a lot of them. I'm looking forward to being at your headquarters on Monday morning and doing some training with the Fire 5 salespeople. And it's just awesome being with you here at D2D, the very first D2D Canada. You think we'll see a D2D Canada too?
I'm hopeful we do.
I bet we will.
Cool.
What's on your mind that you'd like to kind of see on other people's mind as your team and the Canada and the industry? What's on your mind?
I think, and I think this is, it's a horse that's been beaten to death in the US in terms of the message, but because we're an emerging industry in Canada, the ethics and integrity piece of what this is almost exclusively where my mind is right now. And what I mean by that is, we come from, telecommunications, alarms, we're talking about $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 contract values. Not that means that ethics don't matter, but mistakes that are made are easily amendable. When we talk about $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 ticket sale values, not operating with absolute clear ethics and integrity inside the box at all times, this is where, we live in a country where we've had energy sales through door to door already banned in 2 provinces.
Wow.
Right. So we sell a construction. I think for us, it's just, protecting the golden goose, handling the industry with care, reverse engineering all of our decisions from what is best for the end user. We exist to serve. And I think I just can't emphasize that enough.
I think you hit on the existential threat. We could literally ruin this industry for ourselves. And I think we've probably come a good ways towards doing that in the United States. And it sounds like you've experienced some of it here. You talk about being 15 years behind. I can't imagine it's anywhere near that much, but still getting to see some of the things that are experienced there. We had a CEO speak to the solar industry at SolarCon from the stage and talk about, righteous disruption and big giant company and all of what he said was the issues, and the issues being, in his mind, that it was salespeople being able to make such a lucrative career that they make the amount of money that we make in solar, which is the draw, which is why you've got a couple hundred reps, which is why I've got hundreds of people selling, and we're installing for. However, we've made some egregious mistakes, and there are companies going out of business. There are financing companies going out of business. There are new restrictions being put on left and right. And some of those titans of our industry are literally have fallen or are falling. And it doesn't take much to lose, the position of a great company. So I think you've really hit the nail on the head on what we should be focused on as leaders. I'll be emceeing a discussion, a panel on leadership today, and that's going to inspire me. You're identifying that issue, and what you just had to say is going to inspire me to introduce, that topic to leadership. Yeah, I can't wait to introduce you to my partner, who's the CEO of my solar company, Sun Solar Solutions. If I would have asked him that same question, that would have been the exact first answer. I'm so sales and production oriented, and it's been a blessing for me. And I talked about this from the stage. As a sales rep, I really need guardrails because my inclination is going to be to kind of say what needs to be said to get the sale done. But I know where the guardrails are. And if there's no guardrails, I know that too. And in the heat of the moment, those guardrails are so important. In 10 years straight of doing this, I've not had a single customer who has felt like I said something to them that wasn't the case. And that's because we've been explicit in writing, in detail, about how incentives were going to work, how installations, how permits, remaining bills. That's a big
one.
What is the difference between net billing and net metering if that's changed, and how, are we adapting what we're saying to customers when those changes occur? So he would have said the exact same thing as where leadership needs to be focused.
Amazing. Yeah, well, that's good.
Anything else on your mind as you have so many of your reps here, and we have our first ever D2D Canada here? What else? Anything else on your mind that
I think
you want to share with people?
We're very sheltered up here in the deep cold north, so it's nice to see. It's nice to expose our people to the rest of the industry, and we're blessed to have you guys here, and we're very excited for the weekend.
Awesome, great, Kyle. Thanks for taking the time.
I appreciate
to sit
you.
down.
Thanks so
and
much.
Look forward to spending the weekend and seeing you Monday.
Rock and roll, man.
All right,
thank you.